Hello there, lady. No. Don't you mind them. Hey, you look at me. Hey, look at me. There you go. Now, what's your name? What's the matter? You a bit shy?
I never seen
Seen what?
one of y'all before.
What was you on before?
They can't just take stuff, right?
We thank you kindly for your generosity.
Sally Ann.
Sally Ann. Like two names rolled up into one. That's a beautiful thing.
Amazing. You were just looking at Christina Jackson, and I knew her from Boardwalk Empire on HBO, and what a star she was, and we're just watching you in a series called The Outsiders. Could be seen where?
WJN, Tuesday nights, 9, 8 Central.
You are terrific.
Thank you.
And you're a product of Brick City, Newark, New Jersey.
Yep.
One of Newark's finest. First of all, I want to ask you when you knew you wanted to be an actress, but tell us about this series. Set where? Appalachia?
Yes, Appalachia, Kentucky.
For those who don't know, because it's just like Newark.
I'm like, Newark removed.
Because you fit right in. I noticed you fit right in.
It's like you just drop some Newark in the middle of woods. No, Outsiders is about this family called the Farrells, who have been in the mountains of Appalachia for 200 years. So you're talking, patriots. And they are completely self-sustaining for the most part. They don't believe in reading or writing or money. They grow their own food, they hunt it, they make their own clothes.
Let's go take stuff too, where they want.
Well, that's when they make a run. That's for stuff that they can't get on the mountain.
Right.
And you're basically meeting them at a point in time where a coal company has brokered $1 billion deal for the coal on that mountain, and they need this family off. But it becomes a moral issue because who owns a mountain? The people who have been there for 200 years or a company who's paid $1 billion for it? And so my character, Sally Ann, she is, I guess, throttled into a meeting with the Farrells when they come and borrow from her store.
So help me understand something. Mm-hmm. So you are here in this community. Mm-hmm. Are you one of the only people of color?
If you look at the show, it's me, my brother, and I think you see one other black person, their background. So for the most part, I would think that you have a very small African-American community in the fictional town of Blacksburg. And
you develop a relationship with one of...
the Farrells.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it that dude right there?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You develop relationships...
Oh, goodness.
You know where I'm going. Mm-hmm. Because on Boardwalk Empire, you had these fascinating relationships. By the way, if you haven't seen it, go back on demand, whatever you have to do, see it. You played a character where you developed these extraordinary relationships with different people, right?
Yeah. Mabel.
Describe that character.
Mabel is the daughter of Chalky White.
And Chalky White was a very powerful figure.
The unofficial mayor of Atlantic City in the 1920s, the black mayor of Atlantic City. And I played Mabel White, his teenage daughter, who in the 1920s, there's not a lot of opportunity for a black woman. You either become a nurse, a teacher, or a housewife.
By the way, that's Chalky over on the left-hand side.
Yes.
And that's your mom,
Lenore.
Two over, and does your boyfriend and your brother.
Yes, the one in the middle is my boyfriend, and the one on the end is Lester, my brother. And Mabel doesn't want to be a nurse. She doesn't want to be a teacher. She doesn't want to get married. She wants to be free to make her own decision, which is, you would think a very natural thing for a young woman to want to be able to do in the 1920s, but to be able to have that, that stifling energy around her. And, Chalky wants her to get married because that legitimizes the family. Samuel is a young African-American doctor, so that brings some kind of stature to the family that Chalky can't necessarily provide.
So let me ask you this. When did you know, growing up in this community, we're here at the Newark Museum, this is part of a series we're doing that features some pretty special people coming out of this city. We'll get Shaquille O'Neal sooner or later, I promise. Product of Newark.
Come on, Shaq.
Yeah, born at Columbus Hospital, well, like some of the rest of us, right? Back in the day, which you would know nothing about.
No.
Yeah, that was quick. That was good. When did you know that you wanted to act?
I didn't. But I can't remember wanting to do anything before acting came into my life. It was one of those situations where my parents always knew that I was going to do something, but they just weren't sure what it was, so they kind of just let me do whatever I wanted. And then when I was in the 7th grade, I was at Rafael Hernandez in North Newark, and this teacher, Anita Bland, she looks at me in the hallway.
Miss Bland.
Miss Bland.
Was she seeing you?
Don't know.
Don't know.
Don't
Come
know.
on.
I was literally standing in the hallway, just aimless, minding my business.
You're
And
making this is a Hollywood story
no,
that makes good copy.
I promise you. She looks at me and she goes, "Hey kid, you want to join the drama club?" And I'm like, "Okay." Join the drama club. She cast me as Frenchie in Grease.
No.
Yeah. Did not know any of my lines. Like, I was terrible. She literally had to stand in the wings and like yell my lines out to me. And after that, I said, I will never, ever forget a line like that again. Couple of more months go by, she cast me as Annie. And I was Annie, little
You weren't
black
Annie.
I was little black girl with a big red afro.
No.
Dog,
Are there pictures to prove this?
Dog, why are you following me? I promise you. That's it. See, I told you.
You proved it. And how did people receive it?
It was great. I mean, you know, you have a bunch of kids, inner city kids, who are in this environment. I mean, you have to fight a lot just to get to school. I didn't go to the Boys and Girls Club because there were, you know, drug dealers out in front of it, and I didn't want to. There weren't like karate.
Right over on Broadway.
Yes.
I know exactly the North End.
Yep.
That was my.
And so I'm not going to go there. I'm not interested in karate. I can't play basketball. So it's like, I need something else. Miss Bland putting me in the drama program, I was able to see my first production.
Then you went to Arts High? I'm sorry. You saw, did you see Aida?
I saw Aida with Heather Headley on Broadway.
What did that do for you?
It changed, it made it very possible for me to think that acting was something that I could do. Because I grew up with, you know, the Jeffersons and, you know, Good Times and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Moesha, but slowly all of those quote-unquote black shows have kind of been phased out. You have Blackish now and like the Carmichael Show, but for a long time it went from African-American shows to just general shows with an African-American character. So for me to see this black woman on stage on Broadway was like, you know, amazing. And so I ended up applying to Arts High.
Great school.
Amazing school. And my major was drama. And I went from, at Raphael, I garnered a passion for acting, but at Arts High, I learned the history of drama.
Did you also, I'm sorry for interrupting, Michael B. Jordan. Who
Yes.
played Apollo Creed's son in Creed. Is he there when you're there?
Yes.
He's right there.
We are literally the same graduating class, so.
Did you see it then in this kid? Or are you just another kid?
No, he had already come into Arts High the summer before we were freshmen. Hardball with Keanu Reeves had came out in theaters, and so there was all of this murmur, like, oh my God, Michael Jordan is like coming to Arts High, and I'm like, who is that? Like, I didn't know who he was at that point. And then our freshman year, he ended up doing The Wire.
Set in Baltimore.
Yes,
right.
Set in Baltimore with Michael Kay, who played my dad on Boardwalk. So, you know, HBO family. And then he ended up doing All My Children with Susan Lucci for a couple of seasons, and then he moved out to LA. And so it's like there was something happening at Arts High where you were being given the tools.
So here's the deal. One of the things that fascinates me about you, other than your acting itself, is that so many people who come from the city, who make it big, those who are fortunate enough to still have a connection, or we're fortunate enough to still, you know, I was born and raised in the city, literally a couple blocks away from where you said you knew very well on Mount Prospect and 2nd Avenue, right? The bus used to drop us off at a high school that doesn't even exist anymore. Way before your time.
Way before my time, but
Thanks.
I know what you're talking about.
All right, stop. So You still live in the city.
I do.
You have your roots here. So many leave, and some like Shaq remember and reinvest, because putting money in the city, building housing.
But even more don't leave and just are, you know, not content with the environments and things that don't change. But
you had a chance to be anywhere you want to be. Why are you here?
my family's here. There's a certain amount of pride in being able to come back to a place where growing up you just wanted to leave, you wanted to get out of and never look back. And there is this shift that's happening in Newark.
What is it?
It's more gentrification. I would hope that there was more urban renewal and more getting Newark residents involved in what's happening and what's coming into the city and what people are taking from the city and taking other places. But there is a shift. I know people who have literally been shot and killed on Broad Market.
That's right.
And
or on Summer Avenue.
Summer Avenue, or Chancellor.
That's right.
Springfield Avenue, any of
That's
these
right.
places. There's a coffee shop there now. There are, cafes and pet stores. Things that I never thought that I would see as a resident in
So
Newark.
what does that tell you?
There's change happening. There's change happening, and I want the change to include the residents who have been here.
Why wouldn't it? Because they can't afford it?
Yeah. That's
'Cause
generally
things
what
get
happens,
better,
right?
There's people who live here can't afford it, is that right?
That's what happens. You have a lot of people who work in Newark but go live somewhere else.
Yeah, but you're here.
I'm here. And you start to see people trickling back to Newark, New Jersey. But you have to think, Newark is especially downtown, Newark has kind of just been vacant since the riots. If you look at downtown Newark, it's all storefronts and then just vacancies. That I'm talking, 8, 9, 10 stories up. That could be real estate. There could be a
Lock it
store
up.
there. There could be
Lofts,
anything.
all kinds of
All
things.
kinds of stuff. But 50 years is a long time.
Yeah, real quick, Outsiders, tell people again.
It is on WGN, the new network, WGN Tuesdays at 9 o'clock.
What makes the series great?
What makes a series great? Intrigue. There's a storyline, there's a plot line, there's something that will tag onto you and carry you throughout the season. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. It can get confusing at times, but there's love, there's hate, there's money, there's sex, there's power, there's greed, there's family. All of something is, something that you can hold on to.
Why don't you do a comedy after this?
I wanted to do a comedy before this. After getting shot in the face on Boardwalk, it was all right.
Oh, I forgot about that. Richard shot you in the face. The guy with the mask. Oh, God, I'm sorry.
He did it because he had one eye, so.
You got a good attitude.
He wasn't that sharp of a shooter
You
at
got
that
a
point.
good attitude. I
I
like that.
do.
It served you well. And you make everyone in the city proud.
Oh, thank you.
Wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, stay right there. Christina Jackson can be seen on The Outsiders on WGN, right?
Yeah.
Keep it up. Be right back from Newark Museum right after this. He had one eye.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. And by the Newark Museum, in cooperation with NJTV and 13 for WNET. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at Newark Museum has been provided by Bank of America, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Barnabas Health, Johnson & Johnson, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, the Fidelco Group, and by the New Jersey Education Association. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.